Good morning, students. We'll continue again in this lecture with our poem Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard with stanza number 26. There at the foot of yonder nodding beech that reads its old fantastic roots so high, his listless length at noontide would he stretch and pour upon the brook that babbles by. So, in this stanza, the speaker again is continuing or continues to imagine what the old man would say about him. Some old man who must have been living in this village would say about him if a random passerby happens to ask about him. He imagines that this old person would say that at noon the speaker used to stretch out at the foot of the old beech tree. Yonder means there. Nodding is that which is moving because of wind. And he says that he would tell that he used to stretch out at the foot of that beech tree, the one that has fantastically weird roots. Means its roots are such that they look a bit weird. And that he would stare at the babbling brook. Brook is some stream that is flowing over there. So the speaker is imagining, thinking that what would someone who must have been living here would tell a person who passes from here about him. So he just wonders and says that maybe he would tell that he used to stretch here under that beech tree, and that beech tree which has a very weird roots, and he would keep on staring at the brook or some stream that was flowing from there. So here again, listless length is an alliteration, which is a beautiful example of alliteration, as we have seen many in the earlier stanzas also. Hard by yon wood, now smiling as in scorn, muttering his wayward fancies he would rove, now drooping, woeful wan, like one forlorn, or crazed with care, or crossed in hopeless love. So this stanza again continues with what the speaker imagines about, as if an old villager would tell about him after he was dead and gone from this world. He imagines that that old person would say that the speaker used to rove or wander in these nearby woods, because he is a wanderer. He wants to be remembered like that. So sometimes the speaker would smile almost scornfully while muttering to himself, and sometimes he would look all sleepy or pale with sorrow, like he was anxious or else hopelessly in love with someone who didn't love him back. So what he thinks that the old man would say, that he used to roam around or wander nearby these woods. Sometimes he would look very lonely, very sleepy, woeful. Van here is mean pale. He looked pale, like one forlorn who is very lonely, or crazed with care, or maybe he was in love with someone who didn't care for him or didn't love him back, or crossed in hopeless love. So he just wonders what would one say about him when he goes away from this world. One morn I missed him on the accustomed hill, along the heath and near his favourite tree. Another came, nor yet beside the rill, nor up the lawn, nor at the wood was he. This is again the continuation of the imagination, what the old man would or some old villager would say about him after he is no more in this world or gone from this world. He imagines that the villager would say that he. So the speaker feels that he would be remembered, he wants to be remembered. He imagines that the villager saying that he missed seeing the speaker now, because he had been a permanent member, permanent person who was living around there, moving around there. So he was a part of that scenery. So he imagines that the villager would be saying that he missed seeing that speaker now on a certain morning in the usual place where he used to find him, on a local hillside along the fields. Heath means fields. By the speaker's favorite tree, that is the beech tree that he has mentioned earlier in the 26th stanza. So the villager goes on to say that another day passed and yet he still didn't see the speaker by the brook. Rill is the brook, or on the grass, or by the woods. It seems as if he is missing him. So it's a sort of wish of the speaker that he would be remembered by the villagers who are living there. So he just wants to imagine that day after day they would find it mysterious, or they would like to miss him because they would not find him at his accustomed place where they used to find him every day, every morning, by the brook or by his favorite tree. So he is just imagining that he would be missed by them. The next, with dirges due in sad array, slow through the churchway path we saw him borne. Approach and read, for thou canst read the lay, graved on the stone beneath yon aged thorn. The speaker again continues to imagine what an old villager would say about him after his death. And on the third day, 2 days, he has already told in the earlier stanza that what would they feel for the first day and the continuing day. And on the third day, after the speaker is still not seen anywhere, still not found anywhere, the old villager says that dirges are funeral song, were played, and that they saw the speaker carried slowly along the path to the church in a funeral procession. Then they really come to know what is the reason behind him not being seen at his regular places. The villager invites the random passerby who had asked him, which was the kindred spirit in the earlier lines, to read the epitaph that is engraved on the speaker's tombstone underneath the old thorn bush. As the villager, he had already told that they were illiterate people, they were not good to read, good to write, and they were not so advanced in studies. So he asked the passerby to read what has been written on, what has been engraved on the tombstone, which is there underneath the old thorn bush. So this whole, all these stanzas give us a sneak peek into the mind of the speaker, or you can say any one of us, because everyone wants to be remembered after death. So this is not strange that the speaker or the poet wants to be remembered, because he had been staying there, he has been wandering there for so many years, because he loved to be there. So he wants to be remembered by those villagers in a good way. Thank you. We'll continue and finish the poem in our next lecture. Thank you.